Welcome back to the Hystorians podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Des.
Hi, Des.
Hi, Liz.
How are you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty good.
Me too. I'm very excited, but also I feel like a dog. You know how my mom's one dog, when she's a little embarrassed, she gets that weird smile, and
She
like
does.
she's like, "Hi, I'm really cute though." I feel like that for this episode this week.
Oh no, why?
So you know how on like our website and our whole thing is two overeducated, undermedicated gals.
Right.
I was very undermedicated this week.
I feel like that's just more on brand then.
I don't know. But like during the research process of this episode, I was pulled in so many different directions.
Oh,
I
dear.
felt like a dog at a squirrel oasis. I was like, oh my gosh, look at that. Oh my gosh, that happened? Oh, girl, spill it. And so
It makes it hard to narrow it down.
Yes, it's all over the place, but I'll get more into it as we go.
Okay.
I gave you a topic.
Yes, you did. And so what that was Tang Dynasty palace roles.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, the sources that come up on Google for this don't really lead you right away.
Also, we are in the United States, so I'm
Right.
sure that
It was very whitewashed. It was very general.
Yeah.
So, you know, what I came up with, who knows if you'll know if it's actually, you know, correct or not. And that's part of the reason why we do these prompts, is to kind of see what does the general public get to see when they search this topic.
Yeah, what's available for the general public to learn.
Well, it was some Quora.com things, and
Quora?
Of course they weren't Quora, Quora. They of course are not cited answers. So going by what those people said, you know, who knows? There was some Wikipedia, which is general. It's fine. It's a better jumping off place than it is an end zone.
Hey, look at those references, follow those links, and see where those take you as well.
So what I came up with was, first of all, it gave me a general idea of what the Tang Dynasty was. And so essentially we're looking at medieval period. Yep. It's about 618 to 907 CE. Mm-hmm. And we're looking at imperial China. Yeah. And mind you, at this point, China was not the China we know today. It was much smaller scale. The empire was still very large, and this was considered its golden age to a lot of historians. But it was not the China we know today that's, you know, like this huge landmass. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, specifically, you wanted me to look at the palace court politics, essentially. Mm-hmm. And what I found, you know, was a very much so an emphasis on etiquette. Yeah. There was a right and a wrong way to do things, and that things were sort of controlled by an inner group of people that would have been made up with a variety of officials, attendants, eunuchs, concubines, and ultimately at the top, the empress and the emperor. Mm-hmm. And for the emperor, pretty much anybody under him was seen as belonging to him, specifically when it came to the women. Yep. But, you know, they were, of course, still under the empress as well. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so I'm sure that you're going to be able to delve into this topic a lot better than this Google did, because it kind of left me with that. It kind of said this is what it is, but it never went into like what that was like.
Can I say that you just like took, essentially, I included information in the presentation, but you just like touched upon it. And so I'm wonderful. So glad. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I also wanted to, before we get into the topic, I wanted to also say that I'm from the Midwest. I have a very lazy accent. that caused my tongue to be very lazy as well. We don't like to pronounce most letters and words, but I am going to try my best and be the most respectful that I can of names and everything. And also, I'm not a Confucius or a Chinese scholar, but I wanted to make sure that we're trying to be as well rounded in our
Yeah.
subjects as possible. Do you have? I can't remember if you have any uh, focus on Eastern, like East
I
Asian
have
studies.
I the only thing that I would say like specialized in at any point that had to do with East Asia would be Edo period Japan, specifically metal alloys and sword making, which will come up eventually. Oh, honey.
You specified.
I went so deep in that rabbit hole that it's going to have to be an episode. And I'm
I
sorry, but
can't
you're all going to
wait.
have to hear about metallurgy.
I can't wait, honestly. I'm really excited. Oh my gosh, my dad will love that. He
I
loves
studied over I
forged
studied
in fire.
over 400 hand sword guards called tsuba, and I'm obsessed with them.
Love it. I can't wait.
But anyways, that's not about that. But I'm saying, I not specifically this area.
Yes. Alrighty. Episode mine. Episode 5.
All right.
All right. Of the Hystorians podcast. Hey, babes. So, this week's episode is setting the stage, the ascension of the treacherous fox, Empress Wu of the Tang dynasty.
Ooh.
Woo!
We gonna be talking about woo. I am so fascinated. I have not heard of this person.
So, when I first started compiling subjects
Mhm.
for episodes, I started out with Google searches of like what's lesser known but outrageous
Right.
or like really interesting subjects throughout history, and Empress Wu kept on showing up over and over, and I was like, well, my interest is piqued, so I set out focusing on Empress Wu. I got tied up, hog tied, wallered in the muck because there was so much leading up to her ascension that I was
Oh.
like, oh, I feel really bad because this isn't like absolutely focused on her anymore. It's focused on the royalty is or the imperial lines essentially and how the Tang dynasty was established.
Well, and honestly, to me as a historian, that only makes things, more interesting when one person can be surrounded by all this, because you have to think
Mm-hmm.
being a human is not a dot on a map, it's a process.
Your experiences create you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
so
experiences aren't stagnant events. They
absolutely
are
not.
continuing forces upon your life.
Yep. And they can shift the trajectory of your life
Yeah.
in a instant. All right. And then I also wanted to touch upon one of the main source that I used for this subject, a book called Wu, the Chinese Empress Who Schemed, Seduced, and Murdered Her Way to Becoming a Living God. Now,
Damn, what a fucking title.
right.
I can only hope that when I die, somebody writes something like that about me. I could not imagine.
Okay, so side note, I didn't include this in my presentation. That was an amazing title, but then the author, which also Jonathan Clements, amen, love this book. This is an amazing book. I'm going to buy a copy of my own. I got this from the library. That epitaph, I feel like that would be a great epitaph.
Yeah.
Her epitaph is blank, which is very out of the normal. So, book was amazing. Definitely recommend. So, who was Wu? Born to an older, successful lumber merchant and his second wife in 624 AD, she had two full sisters. She was the middle child, so she had an older sister named Helen.
What?
Yeah. A lot of people do not realize just how much of world travel has been happening for so long.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, the Chinese emperors at this time had ostriches.
And those had to come from somewhere.
Yes, exactly. They knew what certain animals were, and we can tell that because their sculptures are in their temples.
Yeah.
And so it's like, no,
so a borrowed name was not unusual for this class of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes they also have ancestry. Like there's Turkish ancestry in the imperial family as well.
Oh, cool.
At that time. I don't know if that'll get me canceled or not. Who knows?
Anything can these days.
And she had 2 older brothers from her father's first marriage. Side note of the story, but it is possible that it was editorialized by Wu herself, because she did have a very heavy hand in editorializing her own Ascension.
Oh.
But also we have a lot
if I could, I would.
I mean, yeah.
I don't blame anyone for doing that.
At this time, there were a lot of gossiping. There were a lot of gossips. There were a lot of schemes. And there were a lot of conspiracies and propaganda. So
sometimes you need to force the hand a little bit.
And also it's like, if she was as ruthless of an empress that she is depicted as, the stories are probably editorialized by her and her allies. We do have opposing claims and stories as well, but that could also be chalked up to gossip, propaganda against her, because she was a ruthless monarch. Like, she ruled with a heavy hand. So there's this story of a fortune teller that her parents saw when she was about like 3. And her mother's fortune was that this woman would bear a royal child. She had 3 daughters, and only 3 daughters. Her sister's fortune was she will marry honorably, but will not bring honor to her husband.
Ooh.
This was...
This like a 5-year-old? Like a 3 to 5-year-old?
This fortune teller looked at a 3 to 5-year-old and
you
said,
were born a hoe. You been a hoe. You were born a hoe. You've been a hoe. You're gonna be a hoe. You're gonna die a hoe. That's what this fortune teller said, looking in the eyes of a 3-year-old.
I'm surprised that there's not like a note saying, and then her mother tackled the fortune teller and said, "You didn't see this coming, did ya?" And okay. So Wu was under 3. And Wu was her family name, but her personal name was Wu Zhao. And so Wu is her familial name, but I'm going to reference her as Wu because she's referenced as Empress Wu in most of...
Right, and what she's best known as.
Yes. So she was dressed as a boy. They did that a lot during this time to, like, confuse curses. You know?
Oh, yeah.
So even in, like, 624... they had the evil eye, you know, like, oh no, just dress up your baby as the opposite gender. And the curses
throw them off the trail.
The curses are very gendered, and if they come to this baby and they're like, that's a boy, actually it's a girl, I'd say, I can't be here, I guess. My contract is very specific.
It must be.
So the fortune teller said that the baby essentially had the aspect of a man, the countenance of a dragon, and the neck of a phoenix.
The fuck a neck of a phoenix mean? Of a phoenix?
I don't know, girl. I don't know what a neck of a Venus is, but I can tell you what a neck of a phoenix is.
Okay, let me try again. What the hell the neck of a phoenix mean? Is that the fiery bit? Is that the not fiery bit?
I don't know, because phoenixes are also sometimes like long-necked, and I'm like, did he just call this baby a long neck?
Called baby a long neck, the sister a hoe.
The mom a mother.
The mom poor, because she's not going to be the royal child.
No, you're going to bear one. No, and continence of a dragon? Does it have a cloaca?
Yeah, like...
Do dragons have cloacas?
I get that this is probably like some sort of crazy metaphor, and this would have all been very flattering to hear of your child back then, but...
Back then, yes. Yes. Nowadays, but again, as my dad says, you need to stop looking at history from the point of view of now. And I'm
exactly.
Like, well, sir, I can still do that because I have free will. And I'm going to use it how I want to. Okay, so neck of a phoenix, not even finished with this fortune,
I'm so sorry.
Indicators of a most celebrated individual. If this were only a girl, she could be the ruler of the empire.
If only.
And then I'm pretty sure that her parents looked at
Psych.
each other like, oh my wait, she is a girl though. We're not telling this fortune teller because he just called our other kid a whore. And like, so I don't know. I feel like if he thinks that one, you'll bear a royal child and that she's a celebrated individual, I think he might kidnap both of you.
Yeah.
So Empress Wu was born and rose with the Tang dynasty. She was born like 2 years after its establishment. And so I'm going to give you some background. And this is when we're going to, I don't know, you might not hear of Wu for a while because this is when I started getting a little distracted, okay? But you're, buckle in, buttercups. You're going to have a good time.
Because we're on our way to Wu. We're working our way to Wu.
No, now I'm just thinking of The Sims and Woohoo.
Oh, dear.
Lord. All right. Emperor Taizong. So he was renowned for his wisdom and being a great soldier, and he was really good at ruling and admin, and being an administrator, and he was also a ruthless politician. He knew how to be an emperor, essentially. And he reigned from 627 to 649. So the creation of the Tang dynasty. During the Sui dynasty, Taizong rescued his cousin, who was the emperor at that time, from captivity. He, like I said, he was a renowned soldier. He was a known warrior.
Oh.
He rescued his cousin at the end of a sword, and
Wow.
but then he engineered a revolution against said cousin. Then led a civil war after the revolution, fighting for the power. Who's gonna take the throne?
He wasn't playing checkers. He was playing chess.
He wasn't even playing chess. He was playing like galactic chess because it was like
he was playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Oh, it's nice to see a fellow gamer. That's strategy there. So he helped found the new dynasty, and installed his father as emperor. During peace, though, there was still a lot of fighting, just inside of the palace, for power.
Yeah, a lot of power vacuums. When somebody goes out, somebody else will go in.
Mm-hmm.
Not always
Sometimes
a good thing.
It's more violent after the peace brokerage. So Taizong was at a banquet with his brothers and father, the royal court, essentially.
Okay.
And he started coughing blood. Well, that's
tuberculosis?
That's a sure sign of poisoning.
Oh, that too.
He had a lot of brothers. And so there was a power vacuum for who is the heir. Like, who will be named the full heir. The thing is that Taizong was the middle child.
So, like, yeah, it's like, why would he have gotten it anyway? But they might have thought that because he was so good at everything, kind of outshined him.
Yeah, I mean, he did keep on achievement, like, hunting and just boom, boom. It's like, what have you done? Your brother Taizong literally saved his cousin.
Yeah, so what? You're the oldest. You haven't done shit.
No, you don't do shit here, brother.
Oh, too, because it could have been based, and maybe this is the stupid Western white idealized version of this, but perhaps he was considered to be more honorable.
Possibly. More than likely, actually.
Oh, okay. I don't want to make any assumptions.
So he began coughing up blood and had a prolonged recovery, and actually that he would be plagued by lingering complications from this poisoning for the rest of his life.
Right. I mean, when there's blood and you cough up blood, it means there's going to be
scarring. There's scarring. Ooh, not fun times. Well, he recovered, and being poisoned by your brothers does not sit well with anyone. It especially does not sit well with a well-trained, well-seasoned warrior. And so he literally declared war upon his brothers.
Oh, wow.
He ambushed his brothers at the gate of the Dark Warrior which is very fitting because Empress Wu, Taizong, and Wu's second husband are all their grave sites are all around that area
Oh, cool.
by the gate of the Dark Warrior. So he sat and waited, and he killed one of his brothers with an arrow, and
Okay.
then he jumped down and entered into hand-to-hand combat with the others.
Dang.
And he could have lost the whole fight because it was one against, there's differing amounts, but at least
different accounts.
At least two brothers.
It wasn't an easy fight.
No, but a lieutenant of his arrived, and in the nick of time, like literally writers could not write these plots and subplots and like da 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 type characters.
It was too good.
Because he arrived in the nick of time and skewered the other brother. And so I'm just imagining, like, for some reason it's raining.
Right, an ominous day.
It's raining, it's dark, and Taizong is in hand-to-hand combat with one of his brothers. The brother gets the upper hand, and then all of a sudden, like, they lock eyes, and then
just for a moment,
and then all of a sudden a spear appears through his brother's chest, and then boom. And that's me just imagining. I'm not saying that actually happened. That is me editorializing.
But the way the sources are written and everything, it's very whirlwind.
Very. Oh, I'm telling you. This has just sparked a new interest. Like, I just want to read through like court documents and imperial records, because they recorded some good gossip.
I love centuries-old gossip.
I do too.
That's why we made this channel.
So, due to this incident in 627, Taizong convinced, quote unquote, his father to step down and abdicate the throne to him.
You next, bitch.
You see what I just did to all of your sons and heir apparents? What if I did that to the sire? Familicide? Who? Filicide? Filicide. Is that the killing of your father?
Patricide.
Patricide. Filicide is brothers.
Yes.
Well, he threatened patricide, actually committed filicide. So
yeah.
Which was a common thing during this time, actually. A lot of brothers killing brothers. So, the palace setups and dynamics. We will be focusing on non-political setups. But do you see why I had to dive a little deeper
absolutely.
into Taizong's ascension?
It's fascinating. It's whirlwind.
Yeah. So
tragic.
Very tragic. But it's also like, it's modern novel-esque plot development, I feel like. So we will be focusing on the non-political setup and rankings within the palace. So mainly focusing on concubines, because Empress Wu started her time at the palace as a concubine, and she was a concubine once, and then was a concubine for a second time, and then she was literally the empress after. Oh, honey, buckle up again.
Side note, and this may be putting the cart before the horse. In one of the sources that I looked up for Google, which I said probably isn't correct because it was on Quora.
Yeah.
Somebody said that if you were a concubine and the emperor died, then you would be sent to be a nun because you couldn't serve the next one.
Yes!
So how did she do this thrice?
Let me tell you, babe.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited you came across that source. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Well, and this was just some random person on Quora and wasn't even cited. And I was like, I don't know about that.
I don't know. I'm so excited. So Confucius earns the accidental association with confusing in my head, because although it's very interesting to study, when I was in high school, like, I remember reading a lot of Confucius documents, but I can't remember most of them though. So I'm like, well, that's another thing to put in the project binder.
Right. I mean, it's something that gets covered. It gets, covered in your high school history class usually, but it's not something that's going to probably stick with you.
At my university, we did have a Confucius department, I believe, which was really interesting, but I was focusing in American history. Typical white woman.
Lame.
I am lame. Anyway. So, because there are so many layers and rankings, and if this does not happen, here are A, B, and C ways to address it officially. Confucius doctrine laid it out pretty well. Concubines, social rate rankings, and then heirs and how inheritance goes was really dictated through Confucius teachings.
Okay.
So there are grading levels of concubines. Did you know that?
Oh my gosh. I would have loved to have been graded.
Well, it's more like
I would have liked a lot of other aspects of the job, but getting graded.
It's ranks. It's ranks more than grading.
Still,
But
I'm such a tryhard. I'd be like,
you would want to. You and Wu would have gotten along because she sure did rise in the ranks.
Oh wow.
So up at the absolute top is the Empress. She is the main wife. She is the lady. She is lead wife. Then under her, there's 4 consorts. That is the noble consort, pure consort, virtuous consort, and worthy consort.
What's the difference between the pure and the virtuous consort?
Rock,
Can
paper,
you touch
scissors.
one and not the other?
Oh, he touched all of them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, pure consort? Who are we kidding here?
I feel like pure consort, like she's the
like the Bubbles of the group. Like the Bubbles, Blossom, Buttercup. She's the Bubbles.
Yeah, so I was thinking pure is like the maiden, and the virtuous is like like religious.
Very pious.
You pious.
Yeah.
But also like spin on it.
Crazy style.
So then there were 9 concubines, which it's Lady of Bright Deportment, Lady of Bright Countenance, continence.
She pisses real bright.
It is.
She gotta be taking vitamins or some shit.
She's taking too much. That's the problem.
Neon continence. The lady of incontinence. The
was
lady.
So I heard you got a promotion at work, and like with the emperor.
Oh, you're not gonna believe it. I pissed myself when I heard it.
Oh, tell me, what's the new title, babes?
The lady of incontinence.
You
bright incontinence.
Honey. Honey, you pissed you were telling the truth. You pissed yourself. Okay. Lady of cultivated beauty. Lady of complete deportment.
Ice.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's Lady of Bright, Lady of Cultivated, Lady of Complete, and then it's like beauty, deportment, and then countenance. So it's like,
and then yeah,
and then under them were. I'm sorry that I'm laughing. I'm thinking of the bright piss. She was wearing white that day, and then it turned bright as yellow.
God, and they didn't have Depends back then either. Had to ruin some perfectly good silk.
Under them was the 9 ladies of handsome fairness, then 9 ladies of beauty, 9 ladies of talent, 27 ladies of treasure, 27 ladies of his majesty, and 27 selected ladies. If the emperor slept with 1 woman each day, it would take a full lunar month just to get through the first top 4 grades.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, and here's the thing too, is I'm sure all of these ladies vied for his attention.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that'd be so stressful.
But also, they were servants to the emperor and everything, and so they had to do whatever the emperor said.
They wouldn't have bothered him probably, but
they were handmaidens, so they were attendants as well. They were like in charge of linens. They were in charge of running the palace and everything.
You mean
those are the lower levels?
Like the 27s?
Ladies, yeah.
Okay, I'm saying you're telling me I'm the lady of bright deportment and I have to fucking change his bed sheets?
I mean, I'm sure you can negotiate.
Fucking wild shit.
Next.
I love this. This is great. I'm gonna wake up every day now and be like, is it giving deportment or is it giving
beauty.
cultivated? Like,
is it giving deportment or is it giving
it's such an
Lady of
intricate
Bright
system, and I wonder what the qualifiers for each were.
Truly, I would love to just deep dive into like the whole breakdowns, and like we could probably do a 3-hour thing on like so this woman was titled this because of this, and her father was connected through this.
Was a mix of connection and also plucked from
Sure
society. Because I wondered, like, how do you find these specific types of beauty?
A lot of politicians jumped at the opportunity to ship off their girls to the palace because they knew that they would be taken care of.
Right.
So that, like with Wu's mother, she sent Wu to the palace at like 12.
Oh wow.
But she was fine with it according to sources. Was
her mother connected?
Her father was.
Oh, okay.
Because he was a wealthy lumber merchant.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But he had passed away. Mm-hmm. And so she was sent
Needed
off.
Somebody to take care of her.
So it was more like, this is the only way for her to get taken care of, social accession, and then like an acceptance too, social acceptance. Like,
yeah.
So inheritance during the Confucius/Tang dynasty, because it's more like during Confucius inspired Tang dynasty. So the breakdown would be the heir of the emperor would be the eldest male child of the empress. If she did not have any male children, she would be expected to quote unquote adopt a male child from a lower concubine.
That creates so much competition.
And it created a lot of like poison, like, you know, I can't think of the word, but you know how like whispers through hissed teeth. Resentment, of course.
Resentment.
There's resentment, there's, you know, just a lot of poison in the air.
Yeah.
Side note, and an important reference for some information, the palace was, for future information, palace was made up of women, eunuchs, and the emperor, as you said before, and the children were kept at the palace but rarely saw their biological parents outside of their official duties. They were usually brought up by tutors or other people in the palace.
Yeah, it was kind of outsourced to them.
Yeah. So Taizong had multiple sons with his wife, the Empress, and their sons were first in line for the throne when their father died, above all the other children that he had. Even if they were older than those children, because he did have some older sons, but the
title was more important.
Yep, their mother's title.
They're the official children.
Yes, they were the legitimate, even though that the other children were legitimate in their own way. So I call this the first palace era.
Ooh.
So Wu was sent to the palace when she was between like 10 or 13. She was a prepubescent concubine of Taizong and one of his personal attendants due to her striking beauty. There's this story that Wu would tell of this time because essentially this was her first husband. Mm-hmm. And he loved horses. Like in his gravesite, he has a lot of statues and carvings of his horses throughout his life. He loved his horses. Mm. And so he had a gray horse named Doppled Lion and was untamable, apparently. Oh. And they were watching them try to train it and everything. And Wu claims to have responded, "I can tame him, but I will require 3 things: a metal whip, an iron rod, and a dagger. I will whip him, then if it does not work, I will strike his neck with the stick, and if that does not work, I will cut his throat with the dagger." And then she would always end the story with quip like, "Taizong admired my spirit." I mean, so more than likely, he probably chuckled at that. Like, oh, but also, do you really think that she could joke about killing one of the emperor's horses, even if it is a joke. Like, there was this, I'm sure there was this certain sense of respect, but she was very favored by him. So it
Yeah.
could be,
Favored, beautiful, young.
so it could be
A
like,
lot of men I feel like would have been like, oh, ha ha ha. It's a woman talking.
yeah.
You know, who cares what she said?
Oh, so typically that would be traditionally seen as very crass and unbecoming of a woman. Um, but Taizong referred to Empress Wu as fair flatterer Wu. And so she was considered, of course, a great beauty. And he seemed to have, she was one of his favorites, because also when he was nearing the end of his life, she was taking care of him.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
she was by his bedside. She was considered a great beauty throughout her life. Also, side note, during this time, they loved stout, voluptuous women. And Wu is usually seen with a double chin. And I'm like, work, girl. I love that.
After my own heart. See, I was born in the wrong time.
I'm telling you, I look at
Y'all don't know what I look like, but I'm very short. I'm 4'11".
I'm not. I'm nearing 6 foot.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, she's mostly depicted as with a double chin, and I'm like, amen, girl. Love that.
Yeah,
for
it
us.
meant that you could afford to eat.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I can't afford to not eat.
Yeah, thinness did not become in vogue until much, much later. And by much, much later, I mean probably within like the past 250 years. I mean, give or take.
Yeah.
That's just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So long hair was seen as desirable. And so, referencing back to when you said, oh, when the emperor dies, his concubines are sent off to a nunnery, essentially. When they're sent off to a nunnery, usually concubines they have their head shaved. And so Wu had like really, really long hair that was very desirable. And there was a reason for sending off the old emperor's concubines, because there was a Confucius belief of incest, if the son was to lay with a woman who has lain with his father.
Oh,
so it was
no sloppy seconds for them.
Absolutely not. They're like, that's they were not into stepson. No.
Yeah.
Confucius
would
said,
not have been on
no.
would not have been on their search history.
Absolutely not. BBWs would be.
Yeah.
So when Taizong died, it is the story goes, and again, could be very editorialized by Empress Wu herself, because it's very interesting what type of nunnery she was sent off to.
Oh.
She was sent off to a Buddhist nunnery, or like a Buddhist temple.
Right.
Which is interesting because they were Confucius.
Yeah.
And Taoism was prevalent.
So it wouldn't have been,
or Taoist.
It wouldn't have been the most popular choice.
And so it's very interesting that she might have editorialized that, but again, we do not know for sure. After Taizong died and his son Gaozong became emperor. Now, before we get to the changing of the guard, essentially, I want to touch on the black sheep. Yet again, another subject that was pulled the rug right out of me.
This is a play with many characters.
This is Shakespearean.
Yeah.
Get thee to a nunnery is literally Shakespearean. And was a policy for them at that time. So, breakout character, Prince Chang, aka the Turk. He was the eldest of Taizong and the late Empress's sons. And he found palace rituals and court assemblies boring. He had a lame leg since childhood, possibly since birth. So he was already seen as like the black sheep of the family, the outsider. He was obsessed with Turkish culture, which at the time was a major cultural taboo.
Ooh.
He did have Turkish heritage through his mother, but he would like regularly set up camp, and would rather set up camp outside and spit roast lambs and would eat it with a knife, like the Turkish who he seemed to idolize.
Aww.
And
He probably just want a connection, and it's just
yeah, he only liked to listen to Turkish music, dances, and imitated the nomad thievery associated with the Turkish at that time, or the Turks at that time, by sending his cronies essentially to steal livestock from locals. So he was the rich kid trying to act.
trying so desperately to act like,
Yeah. And it just shows that teenage rebellion has never changed.
No.
Remember, people, this was in the 600s.
Yeah.
And so it's like he was doing the equivalent of listening to heavy metal, growing his hair out.
Yeah.
But also he would say that once he ascended to the throne, he was out of there. He would immediately leave for Central Asia to hunt, ride, and live a carefree life of his ancestors. And
which, of course, is idealized. Everything is idealized in the future
and that's
tense.
the thing. It's like, I think that these heirs might not realize that they are allowed to do all of this because they have the resources, they have the money, they have the resources to go, I want to go and do this.
Right. I mean, we always say, oh, we would love to, be back in Ireland kind of things.
Yeah.
I've lived the life for ancestors. They left for a reason.
They left for a reason.
Things were not good.
And let me tell you, my genetic story is telling that reason. Don't worry, darling, the British won't get you this time. I'm trying to lose the weight. Why?
Hey, why would you want to do that?
Why?
Your great aunt nearly starved to death. And it would just be.
I would sure love to fit into a dress and not have my broad shoulders fall, rip out of it. Why, dearie? It's so if the mule goes lame, you can pick up the yoke.
But it's very relatable.
Yes.
And he thinks that he has this idealized version of what his ancestors, we all do.
Mm-hmm. So, again, with the stereotype of being a black sheep, he was rumored to be homosexual as well. But also, in Turkish society, that was a little bit more, I use acceptable as very
loosey-goosey.
Loosey-goosey.
Might be fair.
Because it's like, yeah, I kiss my bros on the mouth, but it's more like, yeah, I fuck my bros. So?
What about it? Yeah.
So, familial uprisings and coups. Oh my! Teenage rebellion and royal successions really have never changed, have they?
No.
So, for the familial uprising, the crown prince conspired with one of his brothers, who he was known to like pal around with, essentially. They were like Dumb and Dumber, essentially. If you saw one, the other one was probably nearby, and they probably set off, a fire somewhere. So Chang, Tai, his younger brother, and then his younger brother Ji, who is the youngest son, and he would actually later become the emperor.
Oh, okay.
So Chang was seen as arrogant and began conspiring to dethrone his father very early.
So just like Tai had done with his father, now his sons were also starting to kind of turn the tables against him.
Definitely. And the saying, do as I say, not as I do, kept repeating in my head as I read. And I was like, buddy, this is karma.
Yeah.
So he also got support from a couple of disgruntled officials as well. He was spurred on to do this coup or plan a coup because of the execution of his 13-year-old dancing boy boyfriend.
Oh.
Yeah. His father found out about that he had taken a 13-year-old dancing boy as a lover, and his father got really angry and ordered him executed.
Aww.
Yes. So he recruited his brother Tai, and Tai, in response, asked for sexual access to every musician and dancer in the palace. And I'm like, that's what got us here in the first place.
Truly.
Guys.
Listen, guys, I'm sorry, but the fucking and sucking don't solve everything.
So they yapped too much. Like somebody here.
I can't help it.
They yapped too much. Their plan essentially was for one of the sons to act sick and the others to hide behind the curtains and wait for their father to come in and check on him.
Some fucking Looney Tune shit.
No, it was some fucking like Caesar.
Yeah.
Like at 2. That is Looney Tunes.
Truly.
So, but they yapped too much. The coup was discovered. Also, you're yapping, and the palace is made up of concubines to the emperor, eunuchs who were loyal to the emperor. Sure, a couple of disgruntled ones were conspiring, but it's like the walls have ears.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
The brothers were exiled to the outer boundaries of China, and so they had no money, no titles, and were not able to live a royal life.
How's that ancestral living doing now for you?
I was like, you kind of got what you were asking.
Kind of got what you asked for. Yeah.
And not with your 13-year-old dancer boy.
I'm glad you already liked camping, because, yeah.
Yeah, camping's a little different when you can't go to the locals who've gotten a heads up saying, hey, the crown prince wants to steal one of your sheep.
Yeah.
We're going to steal one of your sheep tonight. Okay, you can take this one. Kind of lame. So
yeah, I mean, nothing wrong on this kid. I mean, I just think that it's one of those things where it's like, oh wow, like you got in trouble and then you kind of inadvertently got what you were asking for.
Self-fulfilled prophecy.
Yeah.
Dude, I would love to go into a deep dive on prophecies during this time, because there are some
crazy.
Again, though, editorialized 2020,
right.
Like 2020 vision, like, oh, it would be cool to put this prophecy 20 years back.
Yeah.
And then, because I've already fulfilled it, essentially. So, Wu and TY-dzawng, suspected to have a quote-unquote incestuous relationship, because she was the emperor's concubine, aka his father's concubine, and his son was not supposed to mingle with his concubines. But he was a favored child, and so he would actually be around his father, and in the palace, he would be the only, like, intact male allowed in the palace for most of the concubines. Like,
you're right.
Or like that's the only other male that they saw.
Well, and that's how he too would know that she existed as a person.
Mm-hmm. And so he was probably the only man that she saw that was not the elderly emperor or a eunuch.
Yeah.
So when his father passed, she had been sent off to that nunnery.
Yep. As was standard.
Yep. And so you would think she shaved off her hair, one of her beauty standards. Well, she was brought back to the palace once about a year after he ascended the throne.
He obviously remembered her because he liked her.
Well, she was starting to worry that he had forgotten about her.
I don't blame her. A year. We got to make it look not suspicious, but then at the same time,
as you said earlier, traditions and cultural, like, faux pas were really big at this time, so they had to be mindful of that. She entered the palace with 7-foot hair. So
I wish I could. 7-foot hair.
So was she wearing a wig, or did she shave off her head actually?
Well, I guess it depends like how long it was when she left. If it was like 5 foot,
it was only a year she was gone.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't even think that she could get it. She was supposed to shave her head. That's the thing.
Right.
And the thing is also, they say it magically grew back. Like, she's so pure, her hair came back.
Maybe she had like a money and got a good wig.
Oh, so geishas were
a Japanese concept separating, countries.
Yes, 100%. But in this book that I was reading, he was like, it was a common practice for them to wear wigs to show, like, long hair, because it was such a cultural norm or standard of beauty. So she might have adopted that, like the association of just, like, in public doing a wig, if she was actually sent to the nunnery and, like, had to shave her head. So she quickly became a favored concubine again. TY-dzawng had a maiden wife already, and her name was Empress Wu, but she had no male heirs. She only had daughters. Wu's male children would have had a chance to be named heir because of this fact, because she was a favored concubine.
Oh, like one of them could have been adopted.
So Wang and Wu seemed to get along okay. Wu gave birth to a son, Li Hong, spent the next 3 years continuously pregnant. One of her children might actually be the child of her sister, Helen, and Gaozong, which is a whole other thing because
Oh.
she was a widow at this time. Her sister was a widow,
Oh, okay.
and then she possibly had this child, but because they suspect that it could have been her sister's child because she had two children within the same year, which isn't impossible,
No, it's not impossible.
but it was like rare.
Mhm.
And also her child was a daughter, the possible sister's child was a son, so a male heir
Yeah.
possibly, another one for the running. People really liked the friendly Wu and was seen as the favored concubine throughout the palace, right below Empress Wang. She was still the main wife.
When you think about it, too, at this point, she's still probably relatively young because she got to the
Mm-hmm.
palace so young. She started early in the game.
Yep.
And so she would have been what, in like her 20s at this point?
Uh, he's about like 8 years older than her, I believe, because he was 8 when his father took to the throne, and
Oh,
Empress
okay.
Wu was born
So
a
she's
couple
still very
years.
young, where it's.
Yeah. So she was in her 20s. So she had two children in 1 year, one daughter and one son. Son is suspected to be Helen's son. Daughter was born in late 654. Protocol called for the Empress to come in and visit the birthing chamber after the birth.
Oh, okay, I was like, that
Um,
sounds so.
to look in
Invasive.
on the new royal edition, essentially.
Yeah.
Wu was not in the chamber when she came, so the account is that she went over and picked up the baby, played with it for a while, and pressed her cheek against its cheek and laid it back down and left. Well, when Gaozong went to see his new daughter, he found the baby was dead and its skin was cold.
Ooh.
Rumors swirled that Wu might have killed the child herself to frame her main rival. So again, it could have been propaganda against her or to sully her
Right, it could have been an
reputation.
infant, just a regular infant death.
Could have been SIDS. Could
Yeah.
have been, who knows. It's hard to believe that Wu would have killed her own child because she went out of her way when she was like at the height of her reign, and she was known as a ruthless ruler. She went out of her way to avoid harming her children. And so it's like, yeah. So Lady Wang was never tried but lost a lot of favor because of these accusations that Wu placed against her.
So they believed Wu.
Yes.
Well, because why would Wu kill her own child?
Yep.
Oh.
Exactly. That opened the door for Wu to become the favored wife, essentially, and because the Empress did die in 655, so just a year later. They didn't really get into that. Now I'm like, what did she die of?
Yeah.
She still had not produced a male heir, and her quote unquote adoptive heir that she had taken on was no longer a promising option as well.
Oh, great.
So once she died, Wu was promoted to the lead wife, and that is the treacherous fox's Ascension.
Oh.
So sadly, I kind of ended it there.
What?
Because I want to do a whole deep dive into Empress Wu.
You sprung a part 1 on me?
Yeah, and I don't know when I'm doing part 2.
You dirty bitch.
I'm so sorry.
This is fascinating shit right here.
Thank you. So what? I always love to have a moment of
discussion,
so
and
this was a wild ride, right?
Yeah.
And then to be hit with a part 1.
I feel betrayed.
I'm so sorry. You know I never want to betray you. This is only scraping the very top levels of these stories as well. These stories are interesting, and I recommend everyone go out and just deep dive.
Yeah.
Follow those rabbit holes. A writer's room could not come up with the insanity of some of these plots, some of these character developments, twists, and then everything that allegedly happened throughout Wu's time, because it's like, okay, but did editors and writers essentially come up with this in a writer's room?
Right. Just as you would edit a painting, of somebody to make them look better, you could edit their story to make it look more heroic, more virtuous, more anything you wanted.
Exactly. And if you have a title like The Treacherous Fox, You want to have stories of you being cunning, sly,
Yeah.
you know.
Turning around on them.
Yeah. And there was a lot of editorializing, as always, and that has always been present throughout human history.
Well, and that honestly, to me, it's a feature, not a bug. I mean, yes,
Exactly.
it absolutely sucks that we'll never probably know the 110% truth of anything.
Mm-hmm.
But if editorializing it was the cultural norm, then
Mm-hmm.
that's the cultural norm, and that's just as fascinating.
Yeah. Exactly. It gives you a look of, like, just a peek into what the cultural norms were, or what was cultural expectations at that
Hmm.
time, because you can infer that from what was written down, what was
Yeah.
official.
And what
Like,
makes a good story to someone back then?
yes. Yes, exactly. It's like, oh no, we need twists and turns. I think that they might have had a spike in ADHD that time, because they had twists and turns, no attention spans. Definitely, like, remember the default adage of a lot of people, which is like, history is written by the victors,
Yeah.
school of thought. um Sometimes research gags you so hard it derails the whole plan that
Mhm.
you had set out. I'm talking from experience about this topic. Oh no. That you turn into Charlie Day trying to figure out who the hell Pepe Sylvia is. This was me. This was me. Who's Pepe Sylvie? I almost put up a yarn wall, which also I am doing at work. I'm putting up a yarn
I
wall
love that.
just because I am the personality hire. And anytime somebody walks into my
You want them to
office,
see how crazy they're walking into.
amen. And then they don't ask questions. Yeah, so that's my part 1 of the Ascension of Empress Wu.
Wow.
And I want to also reiterate that the book, Wu, the Chinese empress who schemed, seduced, and murdered her way to becoming a living god, is so well written.
Did you say you bought this?
No, I'm going to.
Good, I want to read it.
Yes, you are going to love it. And also, I gotta shout it out because it inferred what the reader will want. It had a family tree of the Tang dynasty and of the Wu family.
Love a family tree.
I do too. It helped me so much because there's a lot of people named the same thing,
Yep.
or a lot of shared names.
Well, yeah, like the Julio-Claudian family tree, I might as well have fucking tattooed on my back at this point.
Truly.
Well, not my back. I guess I wouldn't be able to see it then.
Backwards so you can look
In the mirror.
and see the reflection, but your dumbass would probably forget
Yeah,
to do it
I would.
backwards
I
and then go,
would.
well, dang. And then in the appendix, they had other fictions of Wu. They notes on the names, which was very helpful.
That's awesome.
And then they also had a timeline of events of what was happening at the same time. And that kind of shone a really cool light, because it was like, oh, the Tang dynasty is established. 2 years after that, Wu was born. So she was young.
Yeah.
She grew up with the Tang dynasty.
That's
it was
awesome.
so it really helped guide the reader very well,
Yeah.
but also allowed the reader to have those questions and then immediately answer them. It was a fun read.
I love when I find a book like that where it's just so well researched that it wholly encompasses the topic that you want to learn. And we always read multiple sources. We try to have as many as physically possible. But when you find a gem like this, it's just
you
nice.
gotta shout it out as well, because I don't know about you, but as soon as one of my friends who like history finds a good history book, I'm checking that out immediately.
Yeah.
Because it's, I don't know, I just love it.
Well, and then for those that don't want to do a deep dive, it's nice to have, hey, this is all you need. Is this
exactly
one source.
Oh, you are interested but don't want to have to read 10 different sources, but you
somebody did the work for you.
He did all the work. And so thank you. I have a bunch of sources. Check out the bibliography in the description.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming along with us. I'm so sorry that this was so scattered.
No, this was, well, I think it just encompassed how absolutely wild of a ride was going on for them as well. It wasn't, history is not always just the tale of one singular person's point of view. It's the tale of multiple people's points of view coming together.
And things don't take turns
No.
happening during history. Things happen coincidingly. So it's just so fun to see that and be able to show that too. But thank you so much for joining us this week,
Yes,
and
thank you.
we look forward to seeing you again. Are we starting our spooky, scary skeletons?
No, unfortunately, that'll be a couple episodes from now. Right now we're, filming a little bit earlier than when we're publishing just to keep up. But our next episode is going to be diving into something that is more American than apple pie.
Which is weird from you.
Me doing an Americana?
That's
Me
odd.
doing
I'm
anything
excited now.
Americana?
I'm usually
Not just Americana, but kind of, pop culture icon almost.
Oh my gosh, I'm so down. I'm so excited. Thank you.
I'm excited too. It's so fun.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
With the Hystorians.
Historians.